Hey everybody, and welcome back to our second episode of our multiplayer game. So this is where we left off in the previous episode. So we have like a run-in menu, like simple but efficient. So I can create a game um, and like join the game as well. So as you can see here, we have like two players connected, and if I close like the client, the player gets destroyed, and that's pretty much it. So we still have a lot to do in here. So in this episode, we're gonna make the player move. Uh, that's the first thing we're gonna do, and also we're going to make other clients see other people. So keep in mind that only the server for now can see the players because uh, the player objects are created in the instance of the game running the server. All right. So in order to do that, the first thing that we're gonna need is uh, well, we're gonna need a buffer for the client. So let's go ahead and create the buffer. So now the buffer will be used to like send a packet to the server. All right. So a buffer is just like a piece of memory. Okay, nothing like to be scared of. So buffer create. All right. Um, Now we're gonna give it a size. Now, usually you don't wanna go with something like too small or too big. Um, Something like this should like get the job done. Now the buffer type. I would recommend you to go with buffer grow, and the alignment is 1. Okay, make sure that the alignment is 1. Now the alignment is just like the space or the bytes between each piece of data that you want to write in the buffer. It's a good idea to give it 1. It must be 1 for this to work. So yeah, that all we have to do is create a buffer where we can store memory. So we're gonna write a bunch of data in it, send it to the server, and the server is going to decrypt it or decipher it to see like which command we're asking for. So we have a buffer now. We're ready to send commands to the server. So what do we need to do? Well, let's go to the so our goal is to make the player move. Okay, so in order to do that, the server needs to know that we are pressing maybe the left key or the right key, depending on like which key you want to use. Doesn't really matter, but the important thing is that the server must know which key you are pressing, and in order to do that, you, the client, needs to tell him that information using the buffer. So how are we gonna do that? Well, first of all, let's add the move mechanism to the player object itself. So let's go ahead and create add some variables in here. So we're gonna add an array. Okay, array called keys. Okay, and let's add some macros in here. So macros like key left. Actually, it's not gonna be. Oh, yeah. We can do it with macros. So macro key left equals 0. Macro key right. Yeah. For now, we're just gonna like send left and right movements. Okay. And we're gonna have key left equals false. That means we're not pressing the left key. Also, do the same thing for the key right. Equals false. And well, let's give it like some horizontal speed. It's gonna be like 0 when we start the game, and yeah. So now in the step event, um, this should be like familiar from like your platformer games or something like local games. So now we're gonna add x plus equals h speed. Okay, this is like some very like basic platformer stuff, but the h speed here in this case is gonna be well, I mean keys, sorry, keys which was it, key left. This should be minus, okay? Keys, um, and this is key right, okay? So, okay, between parentheses, actually let's add another variable. It's called like walking speed or something. Walking speeds, just give it like 4, I don't know. Okay, walking speed. So just to explain this, well, let's say that this is true, like we are pressing the right key, okay? So this is gonna return 1. 1 minus 0 is 1, okay? Multiplied by 4 is 4. So x basically is gonna increase by 4. Now say that we're pressing both those keys. So 1 minus 1 equals 0. So if we're pressing like the right key and the left key, that's gonna be null, so 0, and we're not gonna move. And if we're pressing the left key, this is gonna result in -1 times 4, which is the walking speed. Then we're gonna move to the left. So that's pretty much it. The only thing that we need to do is like send those commands to the client, to the server, sorry. So let's go ahead and make a script in here. So let's go ahead and name it send like send key. Yeah, this should be good. So in here we're gonna write to the buffer. So in order to do that, we need to make sure that we are writing on top of the very top of the buffer, like the very first of the buffer. So we use this command to make sure that we are on the start of the buffer. So buffer seek. Well, the name of the buffer is buffer. The base, we're gonna need to make it sure that it's from the start, alright, and the offset is 0. Make sure it is 0. Now we can freely write to the buffer right, buffer. Now here's the thing, with every packet that we're gonna send, make sure that the first data that you write into the buffer is of a U8 type, because this is gonna be like the command that we're gonna use to like choose what command are we do we want to do. Okay, so for example, well, let me go ahead and make some macros in here, like for the packets. Okay, so let's go ahead and add like macro called packet. So in this case we're going to send in like a packet called key. Okay, let's give it a value of 0. Get back to our script and packet key. Okay, so when the server deciphers this packet, he's gonna see that the command is packet key, so he's gonna know what to do with the next data that he's gonna read in here. So in here we're just gonna like buffer right, buffer well, I think U8 is enough for like the keys for the indexes. Argument well, argument to 0 and 1, because since this is a script we're gonna like argument 1. Okay, the final thing we need to do is send the packet. So buffer I'm sorry, is network send packet. So we're gonna use this our socket to send the packet, and the buffer ID is buffer. Now here is the thing, we need to know the size of the buffer. Now in order to do that, we're just gonna buffer tell buffer. Now this function returns the size of the buffer, so it's pretty helpful. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. Now let's go back to the client, add a step event. So in this step event, we're just gonna check if we're pressing like the left key. So if keyboard check, if keyboard check pressed, let's say VK left. You can like do it with WASD or like just do whatever you want. It doesn't really matter. So this is like when we press the left key. So we're gonna send this data to the server. We're going to tell him that we are pressing the left key. So this is true. Okay. Also, we need to do the same thing when we release the left key. So if this is gonna be released, and this will be false. Alright, now let's go ahead and do, oh, I'm sorry, let's go ahead and do the same thing with the right key. Okay, vk right, so this should be right, right, and right. Okay. Alright, so we're sending this to the server, okay? So now, let's go to the server itself. Go to the networking event. Now here's what we're gonna do. Now, we're not dealing with like a connection or like a disconnection. We're dealing with something else. So now we're gonna check if the event ID is not equals to global.socket. That means we're receiving data from other clients that are so I think we don't have like this variable yet, global.socket. Yeah, so let's go ahead and assign it in here. Global.socket equals our socket here, local socket. Go to the server, and now here's what we're gonna do. Well, we're gonna grab some values from here. First of all, the socket. Now, unlike the first case, the socket ID in here is going to be the ID, not the socket. Okay, so make sure that in here you type ID, not socket. Not like it's not gonna be the same as in here. Okay. Second of all, we're gonna grab the buffer. Okay, so async load. So we're gonna grab it from the same map, async load, and buffer. So when the server like receives data from the clients, other clients, it's also gonna receive like the buffer. So this is the buffer that they sent. Okay, and I told you that every buffer has like the same first argument, which is always gonna be a buffer you wait, and this is gonna this is like a command of like what do we want to do right now. So the server is gonna read this first command no matter what. So we're gonna make var cmd equals buffer. um, well, first of all, make sure that we're reading from the very top of the buffer. So buffer seek um, buffer, so buffer seek start, the offset 0, make sure it is 0, and now we can read the buffer. So buffer read and the type, so the buffer and the type. So buffer u8, this is the command, and it's always gonna be buffer u8. Okay, so now we're gonna switch the command in here. So let's say that we have like the first case being packet key. Okay, which is exactly what we did. So now we need to like first of all, we need to grab the player, right? So we have a player that we need to grab. It's gonna be var p equals clients. Okay, clients. Oh my god. Okay, clients, and we're gonna grab it using like this is like the key of it, which is like the socket. Okay, so now what are we gonna do? We need to like access like this player. So with p, this is as if you were like typing inside of the player step event or any other event. Okay, so with p, what are we gonna do? Keys, sorry, keys equal. Okay, so what key and what does it equal? Well, if you look to the script, we're not only sending the command, but we're also sending the key and its state. Okay, so if we go to the client in here, we're not only sending the key, or sorry, the command that we want to do, but we're also sending the key and its current state. So let's go back to the server and let's read those variables. So var key equals buffer read buffer u8. So both the key and the type are buffer u8 in this case. We also we can read the state var s equals buffer read buffer u8. I could have like just pasted the previous line, whatever. Okay, oh, I'm sorry, this is u8. So now we can safely do keys k equals s. Another thing that we could have done, we could have like directly replace, like put this in here, but just to make stuff like a little bit simpler, I decided to create like temporary variables. Doesn't really matter. So yeah, now let's give it a try in here. So I'm gonna run the game, see how many minutes. Okay, all right, not too bad, not too bad. And let's see if things are working fine. Now if this works fine, then we should be able to move to the left or the right. Let me just make sure that the step event, yeah, x plus equals h speed, and horizontal speed is like the result of this. And yeah, okay, so here's the game. I'm gonna create a game, and let me cancel that. Okay, so I'm pressing like the right key in here, and as you can see, I indeed can move to both the left or the right. If I press them on the same time, then I can't move. I can't move at all. Okay, so now that we can move the player, we also need to like because look, if I join a game, I can join a game, but I can't like really see what's going on. So the client here needs to know what's going on the game itself. So we need to like now find a way to send those players to the client so he can see them. Now here's what we're gonna do. So keep in mind, only the server is creating these kind of object players. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna create an object, okay? I'm gonna name it obj entity or remote entity, okay? Now what is this object for? Well, basically this object is gonna be just like a mimic of any instance of the game that we want. For example, we can make a remote player. So a remote entity could be like a player. A remote entity could be a bullet, a monster, anything that we want. We're just gonna be using it as a placeholder for the sprite. We're gonna store like the position, maybe the name, the HP, all this kind of stuff. So in order to do that, we're gonna go to the client, okay? In the create event, we're gonna like do the same thing that we did with the server, except that in here we're gonna make a DS map called entities equals DS map create. Okay, so we have our map in here. Now let's go ahead and add a group. Server to client. Now in this group here we're gonna put like the scripts that the server is going to send to the client, and these are like the commands or like the calls from the clients to the server. Okay, so let's add like another group here, and client to server. Okay, and put the script in here. Okay. So let's go ahead and add a script. Okay, and let's call it okay, what do we call it? Update or like send remote entity. Okay, send remote entity. So again, what do we need to do? First of all, since we're gonna be dealing with like a different packet, we need to add a macro for it. So macro packet, let's call it entity. Okay, one. All right. So the server needs a buffer as well. Okay, so let's go ahead and create the buffer for the server. So buffer equals buffer create, size buffer grow, and the alignment as well. Okay. So let's get back to the script, remote entity, and okay, let's do the same thing that we've done with the send key script. So we need to make sure that we're writing on from the very first of the buffer. So buffer seek start, the offset 0. This is very important. Okay, so now buffer right. Sorry, buffer right. Okay, buffer. Now here's the thing. This is always U8, right? U8. The value is packet entity. Okay, so when the client deciphers this packet or this buffer, he knows what to do with it. But here's the thing with entities. Entities could be like a player, could be a monster, a bullet, anything really. So it's gonna be like a clone for any instance of the game that we want. So here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna copy this line in here. Okay, I'm gonna send another argument in here. So this is gonna be argument. Okay, sorry, argument 0. So this is gonna be like a second command. Maybe well, here's the thing. We're gonna switch with argument 0. Argument 0. So what's happening here? Okay, look, I told you that this is gonna be like a second command for it. What's the deal with it? Well, let's say that we're updating an entity. Okay, well, the entity needs an ID, so each entity needs to have a unique ID. Not only that, but this command will tell us what do we want to update with the entity itself. For example, maybe we want to update the X position, the Y position, maybe the name. And for example, we can't really like send the name as a U8 or the U16. That doesn't make sense and it won't work. That's why we're using like a switch argument here, or a switch statement, so that we can write or send multiple like type of data with the same script. So we don't have like to make a script to send string data, or string to like or script to send maybe a U16 as 16. So we can like use or send, sorry, any type of data with the same script. Here's what we're gonna do it. Actually, I've just realized that I've made a slight mistake here. Sorry. This should be argument 1. So this is like gonna be the second command. Okay. The first one is gonna be you know what? It doesn't really matter. No, this is gonna be the second command, and this is gonna be like the ID of the object, ID of the entity. Okay. Sorry. And it's ID of the entity. Okay. Now the ID, I'm pretty sure that GameMaker like stores ID of objects. Sometimes they could even reach like 1000. I'm not really sure. So it's better to use like U16 instead of U8 just to make sure. Okay. I'm not sure like how high the IDs of the objects could get. But yeah, so just to be safe, I'm just gonna use U16 instead of U8. Okay. Alright, so in this case we're gonna switch argument 0, and I think it's time to add some macros. Oh my god, my cat is, oh my god, can you guys hear that? She won't stop. Okay. Okay, we're gonna add some macros in here. So first of all, cmd position x, or maybe just x. Okay, 0. macro cmd y. So this is if we want to like update the y position. What else? Maybe cmd name. Oh my god, sorry. Oh my god, my cat won't stop. Macro cmd sprite. Okay, that's something else. Macro, I think she wants to get in the room. Oh my god. Destroy, so in case we want to destroy the entity. Oh god, I'm gonna open the door for her. Sorry. I'll be right back. Alright, I'm back. Sorry about that. Wait, just to make sure I'm still recording. Alright, I'm good. Okay, so as I was saying, so these are going to be like the second commands, and so we have like a command for updating the X position, the Y, the name of the entity, the sprite. We also have a command for destroying the entity, and so yeah. So in this case, so we're gonna switch the argument 0, which is like basically the second command. Alright. So we're gonna in case we want to update the CMD position X. Alright. So what are we gonna do? Well, in this case, well. Oh, sorry, just X, like that. Well, in this case, we just want to write a buffer U8. No, sorry. So this is X. So it depends on how big the room is, and it depends if your player can get like a negative X value, then use like signed values. So maybe sorry, I'm sorry, S16 should be fine for you. If your player, if you're certain that the X position won't go below 0, then use U16. Yeah, but anyway, I'm gonna be using S16 just in case. Maybe we have some cases where the player can go like outside the room or something. Who knows? I think it's better to choose S16, and the argument here is gonna be argument 2. All right. Yeah, argument 2. Now we're gonna do the same thing with the Y position. Okay. Sorry, Y. Okay, so here's where things get different. So in the name, we want to change this to string. All right. What else do we have? A sprite. A sprite. Well, I'm not really sure how GameMaker stores sprites, but I'm pretty sure they don't have like negative values. So I think using unsigned 16-bit integer should be fine. Not guaranteed, but I think. Okay, we also have a destroy command. Now in the destroy command, we basically just want to destroy the object. So we're just gonna write a buffer U8, even though we're not gonna use it at all. We're just gonna like to fill the gap, and yeah, we're not gonna use it, but we have to read it since to send it, sorry. Okay, argument. Alright, I think we're good for now. That's pretty much it. Yeah, I think we're good. I think we're good. So yeah, argument 0 is the second command, and this is like, yeah. Oh, whoa, wait. I missed like, okay. We need to send the packet, right? So network send packet. So this is the socket that we want to send to, alright? So this should be argument 0. I'm really sorry. Argument 0 and buffer tell. Okay. So there's like a slight mistake in here. since this is argument 0, this should be argument 3. So sorry about that. Argument 3, this should be argument 2, and this is argument 1. Okay, and also this is argument 1, because this is like this is gonna be called from the server, and the server has access to all the sockets. Okay, so if this is like the socket of player 1, then the player 1 will get this packet, and we want to send it to like every socket connected to the game. So we also need to like specify which socket we want to send it to. Alright, so I think we're done with the script for now. So let's go ahead to the server, and so here's the question: where do we want to send this kind of stuff? So when someone connects to the game, okay, when someone connects to the game, we need to tell him or send him data about all other players. Okay, so what are we gonna do now? We're gonna loop through each instance of the, in this case, obj player, and send it to him, to the client that connected to the game. So here's what we're gonna do. For var I equals 0, okay, I is less than instance number, okay, oh my god, instance number, so we want to send like data about the obj player, which is going to be like our remote entity in this case. So I plus plus, here's what we're going to do. Okay, so we want to send data about every player object to the socket that just connected to the game. So here's what we're going to do. And a var player equals instance find. Okay, oh my god, I can't type instance find. Okay, so obj player, and the index is I. Okay, so we're gonna send remote entity. Okay, we're gonna send remote entity. So the socket that we're going to send it to is the socket. Okay, the command here is cmd x. Okay, we want to update the x value of it, so we need to send the ID of it, and player dot x. Okay, hopefully this makes sense now. So we want to update the x position, the y position, we want to update maybe its name, maybe we want to send its name. Yeah, I know that we don't have like names for our players for now. We're gonna add it like later. Actually, let's do it now. So let's go ahead and add player. For now, they're all going to have like name equals unknown, or just player, I don't know, something like that. And the remote entity also should have name. So keep in mind, name, let's make it something completely different, unknown. Okay, and let's get back to the server. Oh, I'm sorry, where is the server? And okay, so we're sending the player x, the player y value, the player name. Okay, so that's pretty much it. Okay, we also need to send this kind of stuff whenever a player moves, so we need to update their position. But for now, let's go to the client and decipher these stuff. So let's add a networking event for the client. Where is it? Networking. Right, see how many minutes we're in. Okay, that's quite a lot, but okay. Okay, now we're gonna do the same thing. var event id equals async load id. Now we're gonna check if socket equals event ID. Now in this case, what are we gonna do? Well, we need to grab the buffer, which is gonna be var async load buffer. All right, and well, let me just make sure that I didn't misspell that in here. Okay, it's buffer. Okay. Buffer, and we need to read the command just we did like with the server. So first of all, let's buffer seek buffer, or sorry, buffer seek start, buffer seek start 0. All right, and var cmd is gonna be always buffer read buff buffer u8. Okay, that's like always going to be the case, since the first argument is always a command for the packet. Now we're going to need to switch the command, and here's the case. Since our first command is like case packet entity, all right. So if you remember, we have another command which is buffer read. Okay, buffer read buffer I'm sorry, buffer u8. It's like the secondary command. This is the entity ID, the second argument that we're gonna read. Okay, it goes buffer read, and the buffer ID, I think we used u16. Let me make sure. Buffer ID u16. Okay, make sure that these match. Okay, otherwise we're gonna get like into some weird glitches and troubles. Yeah, so here's what we're gonna do. Now we need to well, here's how we're gonna work. Remember, we have entities map. Okay, here's what we're gonna do. ds map set. Oh, no, wait. We're gonna first check if ds map find value. So we're gonna have like entities. Okay, the value here, or the key, sorry, is the ID of the player. Now we want to check if it doesn't exist. Now if it doesn't exist, then we're gonna create create a player for it. So in this case, we're gonna create var p equals instance create. Oh, what am I doing? Okay, yeah, okay. Instance create 0 instances obj now remote entity. Okay, also ds map set entities, the key and the value. All right, so now we make sure that every entity exists. Now we can safely grab the entity from the entities list, or map, sorry. Okay, and grab it using the key, which is the ID that we sent. And now we can add switch statement, sorry, for our secondary command. So now we can actually, let's just copy this and paste it here. All right, now we just need to change this to buffer read. And remove this. Okay, so here's what I'm gonna do. Now in this case, then we're reading the x value, so it's gonna be p.x equals player buffer.read. Now this is the y value, so p dot y equals buffer.read. In this case, the name of it, so buffer.name equals buffer.read. This is the sprite, p dot sprite index equals buffer.read, and in here we're just gonna like, this is like the destroy command, so with p we're just gonna say with p sorry, with, oops, what am I doing, okay, with p instance destroy. Also we need to remove it from the map, so dsmap destroy, I'm sorry, delete, yikes. So it's entities and yeah, id. Okay, so hopefully we didn't make any typos or mistakes. So let's give it a run, and then I'm gonna like explain what we did if you like didn't get it by now. Okay, so we have an error, cannot use arguments outside the script. Where is that? Oh yeah, so this should be switch C. Okay, what's unknown function or script, dsmap delete. Alright, where is it? Dsmap delete. Okay, yes. Okay, alright, it is. Hopefully it's gonna run from the first try. That doesn't happen often, but okay. Alright, of course we get an error. What's that? Unable to find any instance for object index 0 name obj menu. Okay, what's the okay, line 22, obj client 22. Okay, so it looks like I've made another mistake, which is this should be buff, not buffer. Okay, yep, so this should be buff. Alright, okay. Okay, let's give it another try. And um okay, so I was getting like this kind of weird error, and all I did is like change this to if not dsmap find value, and it is eid instead of like equals -1. Also I've changed like the buffer read, like the id of the entities to u32 instead of u16, just in case. Make sure to do it both in here and in the script itself. Okay, so you need to change this to u32. And yeah, so that's pretty much it. So I think it is working now, so let me give it another try. But we need to also run like 2 instances of the game to see if it's working, because the first one is going to be the client, and I mean, sorry, the server. And come on. Okay, so this is the server. If I just enter, okay. Alright. Now if I hit join, yeah, I still cannot see them. What's happening here? Okay. Okay, so I finally found this solution. Well, the problem was here. So I was like checking if dsmap find value was -1, which was not the case. All you had to do is if not dsmap exists, and it's gonna solve the problem. Keep in mind that I've also like changed this to u32. Let me make sure from recording. Okay, I've changed this to u32 just in case. It's probably would have worked with u16, but yeah. Again, so if I run this, I need to like um, I think I'm not sending the sprite in here, so yeah. We need to send the sprite as well, otherwise it's not gonna we're not gonna be able to see the player. So we're gonna send the sprite here. Send sprite plt or pl.sprite index. Yeah, probably should have done that earlier. So now let's see. Okay, hopefully this is gonna work. Alright. Okay, create game, cancel. Alright, so as you can see here, I have a player here. I can totally see a player there, and this is from the client, and the player that I can move is from the server. So if I join a game from here, I can see both of the players. The problem here is that we are not updating the we're not updating the position of the clients or of the players. So we need to go back to the server. Okay, go to the server, and in the step event, well, in the step event, well, let's grab this for loop. I'm not sure if it's a good idea to do it in the step event, but whatever. So we're gonna do the same thing here, except that we're just sending the position this time. We don't want to send the sprite index or the name. This is like a one-time thing. Well, maybe we want to change the sprite, but not for now. So instead of sending it to like, so we don't have this variable socket anymore. Instead, we're going to loop through all the clients that we have, or the sockets. So var s equals 0, s is less than ds list size, ds list size sockets s plus plus. Okay, so what are we gonna do? In this case, we want to var socket or so equals ds list find value sockets so or s, sorry, and we want to do this here, except that we want s socket to be just so, and that's pretty much it. So this way we're sending like, we're continuously sending the position of every player object. So let's give it one more run, and this time we will be able to see the players in their current position. Okay. This is probably like, this is probably gonna be like the longest video ever in this series, but yeah, this is probably like the hardest thing to get to work. Alright, so create game. Okay, cancel. Okay, so as you can see, there's a little bit of delay because, you know, it's like getting sent through network and stuff, but yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna join the game. Alright, so as you can see now, they're both like in sync, and they can see like so if you want to get like rid of these like clones, so if you are running the servers, maybe you don't want to like you can go to the remote entity, and in the or in the step event, and step event, and just check, since the server is persistent, so you can do something like if instance exists obj server, maybe, then just maybe you want to just like make it invisible, so visible equals false, and this way you're gonna have like only one characters on your screen, so you don't have to like render them from both the server and the client. So it was like a pretty long video, not gonna lie, but we did like the most important stuff. Like we made the player able to move, and we also like synchronized the player positions, and this way we'll be able to like do some other stuff pretty easily, since we've already made like a script that can send any data about any entity to the client. So it's all good, even though like we took a lot more time than we had to, but I think it's worth it. So in the next videos we're gonna I don't actually know what we're gonna do. We may implement like a chat system. Just let me know what do you want to see for this series in the comments, and I'll try my best to do it. So yeah, I'll see you in the next videos. Peace.